Welcome to Trending Unpacked, the show where we break down the stories everyone's talking about and explore why they matter. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us on Trending Unpacked. Today, we're diving into something, well, you really can't miss it. It's this incredibly vibrant green phenomenon. I'm talking, of course, about matcha. It feels like just a few years back, it was pretty niche, right? Something you'd maybe hunt down in a specialty tea shop, but now, wow. It's absolutely everywhere. It's a standard option at, your local Starbucks or coffee place. Those beautiful green lattes, sometimes with the fancy art on top. And it's gone way beyond just drinks. I mean, you see it popping up in like high-end skincare.
Yeah, the antioxidant claims there.
Exactly. Or blended into your morning smoothie, promising, energy but without the coffee jitters. This bright green powder, it's just sort of infiltrated everywhere, hasn't it?
It really has.
It's more than just an ingredient now. It feels like a color, a flavor, almost a statement. It's really grabbed a huge global audience.
It's quite remarkable, its omnipresence, especially when you think about where it comes from, its deep roots. And what's really compelling, looking at the material you sent over, is that this isn't just some flash-in-the-pan trend. Not really. It's more like this amazing intersection of, well, centuries of history, its own unique kind of plant chemistry, and these powerful modern cultural forces.
Right.
All these things have sort of come together, pushing it from this, ancient, almost sacred ritual into the global thing we see today. So the big question for you listening is, how did that happen? How did this traditional practice become this modern marvel that's in our drinks, our food, even our wellness routines?
That is a great question. And, to really get it, we absolutely have to go back. Way back. Most of us probably think Matcha, Japan, right? But the real groundwork, the idea of powdered tea, that actually started earlier in ancient China. Your sources trace it back to the Tang Dynasty, so what, 7th to 10th centuries? And then it gets more refined in the Song Dynasty, like 10th to 13th centuries.
That's absolutely spot on. During the Tang period, the process was pretty different from today. They'd steam the tea leaves, dry them, grind them into powder. Sometimes they even press them into bricks.
Bricks? For tea?
Yeah, for easier transport and storage. And they'd whisk this powder in a bowl, maybe add some salt or spices. Very different from a sweet latte.
Definitely sounds different. More medicinal, maybe.
Exactly. The focus was often on health benefits and also just the social aspect of sharing tea. Then, by the Song Dynasty, things got, let's say, more sophisticated. It became a real art form, especially loved by scholars and, crucially, Buddhist monks. They were using powdered tea much closer to our idea of matcha because they found it helped with focus, for studying, for meditation.
Ah, the focus aspect. That sounds familiar.
Right. They believed it clarified the mind. So while it wasn't exactly the matcha we know today, the cultivation was different. The basic idea was there, consuming the whole leaf, powdered for maximum effect. Interestingly, though, that practice eventually faded out in China. They shifted more towards steeping whole leaves like we mostly do with other teas.
So China lit the spark, laid the foundation, but then the practice itself kind of died down there.
Pretty much, yeah.
But then, as your materials show, this powdered tea concept makes this incredibly important journey across the sea to Japan. And that's where it really finds its forever home, right? It gets woven into the fabric of Japanese culture.
Precisely. That move to Japan is hugely significant, culturally speaking. It happened mainly around the 12th century. Zen Buddhist monks were key. There's one figure, Mishingai Aisai, who'd studied in China. He brought back tea seeds and these sophisticated methods for preparing powdered tea.
Aisai. Was he the one who wrote about tea's health benefits?
Yes, exactly. He wrote a famous text, something like Drinking Tea for Health, praising its benefits, especially how it could promote alertness and clear thinking. And for the Zen monks, matcha quickly became, well, indispensable, essential for their practice.
Why specifically for them? What did it do?
They found it helped them stay awake, but also calm during really long meditation sessions, zazen.
Okay, awake but calm. That sounds like that L-theanine thing we hear about now.
That's the core of it. It offered this focused alertness, this mental clarity, without making them agitated or jittery, not like other stimulants might. So it wasn't just about staying awake. It was about cultivating mindfulness, being present, sharpening the mind. This connection turned drinking tea from just, having a beverage into something deeply meditative, a spiritual discipline almost.
That's fascinating, the drink becoming a tool for spiritual practice. And from that monastic setting, something even more intricate evolved. The Japanese tea ceremony, shinoyu. That wasn't just monks meditating, right?
No, not at all. The principles that were nurtured in those Zen monasteries, they really laid the groundwork for shinoyu. It developed over centuries, really hitting its peak in the 16th century with tea masters like the famous Sen no Rikyu. And shinoyu is Well, it's so much more than just making tea. It's a highly formalized ritual, deeply spiritual, deeply aesthetic.
Everlasting.
It embodies these core principles: harmony, wa, respect, kiriri, say, and tranquility, choshaku. Every single thing matters. The specific tea bowl they choose, the bamboo whisk, even the exact way the host moves, the quiet feel of the tea room, it's all loaded with meaning.
No.
The whole point is to encourage everyone there to slow down, be completely present in that moment, and appreciate the simple, fleeting beauty of it all. It's incredibly disciplined, very thoughtful. It makes traditional matcha worlds apart from just grabbing a quick latte. It's truly an art form, even a path to self-understanding.
It's kind of mind-blowing thinking of a simple powder having that much depth and history behind it.
Which brings us back to the powder itself. Let's talk about what makes matcha. Matcha. Like when you're standing there deciding between a regular green tea bag and a matcha latte, what's the actual difference? Because it feels different.
It absolutely does feel different, and that comes down to its very unique production. That's the key distinction your sources keep highlighting. So regular green tea, you harvest the leaves, you steam or pan fire them, roll them, dry them, then you steep them in hot water.
Yeah.
And you toss the leaves.
Well, you drink the water they were steeped in.
Exactly. Matcha is completely different. About, say, 3 weeks to a month before harvest, the tea plants, Camellia sinensis, are covered, shaded from direct sun.
Shaded? Why do they do that?
That shading is crucial. It forces the plant to produce more chlorophyll, hence the super vibrant green color, but more importantly, it ramps up the production of amino acids, especially L-theanine.
Ah, there's that L-theanine again. There it is. So after harvesting these shaded leaves, they carefully steam them, dry them, and then, this is important, they remove the stems and veins. What's left is called tencha.
Tencha. Okay.
And that tencha is then ground into this incredibly fine, almost like talcum powder, traditionally using slow-turning granite stone mills.
Stone ground. Does that make a difference?
Yes. The slow grinding prevents heat from building up, which could damage the delicate flavors and compounds in the tea. It's a meticulous process.
Okay, so the shading, the destemming, the stone grinding, it all leads to this fine powder.
Yeah.
Because it's powdered tencha, you're actually consuming the whole leaf when you drink it.
Precisely. You're not just getting an infusion, like with steeped tea. You are ingesting the entire leaf, everything it contains.
So that must make a huge difference nutritionally then. It's not just steeped water, it's the whole plant matrix.
Yeah.
So what are the big hitters? What are those powerhouse compounds that really make matcha stand out?
Well, you hit the nail on the head. Consuming the whole leaf means a much, much higher concentration of everything, significantly more potent. Your sources really detail this. First off, antioxidants. Matcha is packed with them, especially a type called catechins, and the star catechin is EGCG epigallocatechin gallate.
EGCG, I've heard of that. Good for you.
Very much so. It's a really powerful antioxidant. It helps fight off free radicals, those unstable molecules that can damage your cells, contribute to aging, chronic diseases. Because you're eating the whole leaf, you get a massive dose of these protective compounds. Some studies mentioned in your material suggest matcha has way more antioxidants than even other superfoods like blueberries or spinach, gram for gram.
Wow, okay. So big antioxidant punch.
Yeah.
That's a clear plus. But the other thing people always talk about is the feeling it gives you, that energy. It's not the same as coffee, is it? People say it's like calm but alert, no jitters. What's going on there?
Ah, yes. This is what many people consider the real matcha magic. And it comes down to this fascinating partnership, this synergy between two key components: caffeine and L-theanine.
Okay.
Matcha definitely has caffeine, often similar levels to a cup of coffee, maybe a bit less, maybe a bit more, depending how strong you make it. So it does provide that alertness, that energy. But it also has high levels of L-theanine, thanks to that shading process we talked about. And L-theanine is an amino acid that does something really interesting in the brain. Your research points out how L-theanine promotes alpha brainwaves. These are the brainwaves associated with a state of wakeful relaxation. Think like being in the zone, or maybe the feeling during meditation.
So the caffeine wakes you up, but the L-theanine chills you out simultaneously.
Kind of, yeah. It acts as a modulator, a counterbalance to the caffeine's harsher effects. It seems to smooth out the stimulation. So instead of getting those caffeine jitters, that anxiety or that big energy spike, followed by a crash that coffee can sometimes give you.
Yeah, the dreaded coffee crash.
Right. With matcha, people typically report a much smoother, more sustained energy. You feel alert, focused, maybe even in a better mood, and your cognitive function feels sharper, but without that nervous, edgy feeling.
That makes so much sense. That calm alertness is a really attractive proposition.
It really is. It's this unique combination that delivers a very different kind of awake, which explains a lot about why it's so appealing, especially for people looking for focus and productivity without the usual caffeine side effects.
Okay, so we have this ancient tradition, this unique production method, and this really compelling biochemical profile. It all perfectly sets the stage for its modern explosion, doesn't it? Because, I mean, you really can't escape it now. It's truly everywhere.
Its ubiquity is definitely one of the most striking things about matcha today. It's just gone completely mainstream. And what's really interesting looking through the articles you gathered is just how broadly it's integrated into our culture now. It's not just in those little specialty tea shops anymore. It's a standard item in giant global coffee chains right there next to the espresso drinks. Starbucks, Costa, you name it, plus all the independent cafes.
Yeah, it's just expected now.
Totally. And then you look online, it's all over wellness blogs, promoting mindful living. There are tons of viral TikTok recipes.
Oh, yeah, the TikTok stuff is wild. People get so creative.
They really do. Matcha protein balls, matcha cloud drinks, matcha overnight oats, endless variations, this constant visibility across so many different places, both physical stores and online platforms, has been absolutely crucial to its boom.
And like we touched on earlier, it's not staying in the cup, is it? Other food trends might stick to being just food, but matcha seems to be leaping into totally different categories.
Indeed. Its expansion is really telling. It speaks volumes about how versatile people perceive it to be and how well its properties have been marketed. Culinarily, yeah, it's huge. Bakeries love it. Matcha cakes, cookies, macarons, even things like matcha tiramisu.
Matcha tiramisu sounds interesting.
Right, or artisanal ice cream flavors. Some chefs even use it in savory dishes for a subtle umami background note. And then, because of the health halo, it's moved into the supplement world. You can buy matcha capsules, marketed purely for the antioxidant boost.
Right, just the powder in a pill.
Exactly. And as you mentioned, skincare. Leveraging those antioxidants topically for anti-aging, skin protection. Whether that works as well topically is another discussion, but it's definitely being marketed that way.
So it's diversified way beyond just being a traditional tea. It's an ingredient, a supplement, a cosmetic component.
It really showcases its broad appeal and how firmly it's lodged itself in the modern wellness and lifestyle market.
So if it's got these real benefits and it's showing up in all these places, how did it get so trendy? Like, what pushed it over the edge from available to must-have? This makes me think about social media, influencers, personal branding. Who lit the fuse?
That's a really critical piece of the puzzle. The power of social media, and specifically lifestyle influencers. Your sources are very clear on this. These digital tastemakers have been incredibly influential in crafting matcha's image and just turbocharging its spread around the world. They've framed it in a couple of really effective ways. First, as you alluded to, they position it as this healthier, more mindful alternative to coffee.
Right, tapping into that whole wellness movement.
Absolutely. It hits all the right notes. Natural, clean energy, avoiding jitters, conscious consumption. That really resonates with people, especially younger generations who are actively looking for those things.
Makes sense. And the second way?
The second, and maybe even more powerful way, is presenting it as a stylish, aesthetically pleasing daily ritual.
The visual appeal.
Yes. It's not just about how it tastes or makes you feel, it's about how it looks. That beautiful green, the ritual of whisking it, the calm moment it represents. It's packaged as an act of self-care that's also very photogenic.
So it's both good for you and looks good on your feed.
Exactly. By hitting both those points, beneficial and beautiful influencers have basically shifted matcha from being just a product to being a full-blown lifestyle statement. It becomes a symbol of living well consciously and, frankly, stylishly.
That visual aspect is undeniable. Which brings us squarely to platforms like Instagram and TikTok. There's such a clear link between matcha's boom and how visual these platforms are. What is it about that green powder that works so well there?
It's almost like matcha was made for Instagram and TikTok, wasn't it? That vibrant, almost electric green color is just inherently eye-catching. It pops.
It really does. You can spot it a mile away.
Right. And people describe it as Instagram-friendly or TikTok-friendly for a reason. That strong aesthetic isn't just nice to have. It's actually fueling its virality.
Definitely.
Think about the content you see. Perfectly composed photos of lattes with amazing foam art. Those strangely satisfying videos of whisking the powder.
Oh, yeah, the ASMR whisking videos.
Exactly. Or quick, snappy tutorials showing you how to make some new matcha recipe. All of this is visually engaging, easily shareable content, and it functions as essentially free, continuous marketing. Every time someone posts their matcha moment, it's reintroducing it, reinforcing its status as cool and desirable, creating this ongoing buzz that just keeps pulling more people in.
So the platform and the product are kind of perfectly matched. The visual nature feeds the trend. And it feels like it's not just about the drink in those posts, is it? It's about the whole scene, the context becomes part of a bigger picture, a desired lifestyle.
Precisely. Social media doesn't just show the matcha, it shows the experience surrounding the matcha. It weaves it into this larger narrative of an aspirational lifestyle. You see it linked constantly with wellness, with mindfulness, with a certain kind of clean, minimalist aesthetic.
Yeah, the perfectly tidy kitchen counter, the nice ceramic mug.
Right. Someone starting their day peacefully with matcha, or taking that calm moment with it during a busy workday. It acts as a visual cue, a shorthand, for this type of intentional, healthy living. It's like a prop in a carefully curated story people tell about themselves online, which makes it incredibly attractive if you aspire to that kind of life, either projecting it or genuinely living it.
That ties into something really interesting your sources brought up, this idea of symbolic status. Matcha feels like more than just a health drink. It's become a kind of symbol, especially for Gen Z and millennials, like a marker of luxury health.
That's a really insightful way to put it, and the sources definitely support that idea. Matcha operates as this potent luxury health symbol. Choosing matcha, especially maybe a high-grade ceremonial matcha or ordering it at a nice cafe, it signals something. It signals a conscious choice for well-being. It often implies you're willing to perhaps spend a bit more, to invest in yourself, to seek out things that are natural, maybe ethically sourced.
So it's a subtle status marker tied to health values.
Exactly. And that resonates deeply with younger generations who, as your materials suggest, place a high value on health, on ethical consumption, and also on how they present themselves, their personal brand, if you will. So drinking matcha isn't just hydration or energy. It becomes a small but significant expression of their identity, their values, their commitment to a certain aspirational lifestyle. It reinforces this idea of living intentionally and well.
And it seems to slot so neatly into the current wellness zeitgeist. Why matcha? What makes it the perfect fit? Maybe compared to other things that have had their moment, like, I don't know, avocado toast or kombucha.
Well, it hits several key points of the modern wellness trend almost perfectly. Much like avocado toast became shorthand for healthy fats and Instagrammable meals, or kombucha for gut health. Firstly, as we said, it's heavily promoted as that healthier, cleaner alternative to coffee. That's huge. It directly answers worries about jitters, acidity, energy crashes, maybe even the processed stuff in some energy drinks. The caffeine plus L-theanine combo is its unique selling proposition there.
Right, it offers a solution.
It does. Secondly, it's framed as this accessible yet stylish daily ritual. In a world that feels increasingly chaotic, people crave moments of structure, moments of self-care, things that feel good and look good.
A little island of calm.
Precisely. And the act of preparing matcha, even just ordering it, provides that. It's a pause. It's visually pleasing. It feels like you're doing something good for yourself. This dual appeal functional benefit plus ritualistic pleasure lets it fit seamlessly into all sorts of wellness narratives. It can be part of your morning mindfulness, your post-workout recovery, even a creative cooking project. It's become this really versatile symbol of contemporary well-being.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground, the ancient history, the unique science, the cultural forces, the social media frenzy. But let's get to the brass tacks. Your sources make us ask, is the hype actually justified? Does matcha really deliver on all these promises, or is a lot of it just brilliant marketing, playing on that amazing green color? Are the health benefits truly that significant?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's important to separate the genuine benefits from the marketing spin, though they're often intertwined. Based on the science presented in your material, a good chunk of the hype is justified by matcha's inherent qualities. Consuming the whole leaf absolutely delivers a much higher concentration of those beneficial compounds, particularly the antioxidants like EGCG. That's not hype, that's just biology and chemistry. These compounds do have recognized roles in protecting cells.
So the antioxidant claim holds up.
Yes, the potential for higher antioxidant intake compared to steep tea is real, and that unique energy effect. The caffeine plus L-theanine synergy, that's also based on known biochemical interactions. L-theanine genuinely impacts brainwaves, promoting that calm alertness. It's not just a feeling, there's science behind why it can mitigate caffeine's jitteriness.
All right.
So the core claims high antioxidants, sustained energy without the usual jitters. These have a solid basis in the product itself. They contribute significantly to why people genuinely like it and feel benefits.
All right, so the product itself has real merit. But then how much of its journey to becoming this global icon, this cultural phenomenon, is down to how those merits are presented? How much is just really smart marketing building on those core truths?
Oh, huge amount. You can't discount the marketing. While the benefits are real, the story woven around matcha has been incredibly effective. It's not just about saying high in antioxidants. It's about associating matcha with concepts like purity, mindfulness, natural living, even a certain kind of aesthetic sophistication.
Creating a whole narrative around it?
Exactly. The marketing consistently frames matcha not just as a healthy drink, but as part of a desirable lifestyle. Think about the imagery used. It's often serene, minimalist, focused on ritual and calm. The vibrant green itself becomes a symbol of vitality, freshness, natural goodness.
So they package the science with aspiration.
Perfectly put, it's this powerful combination. Genuine, science-backed benefits wrapped up in a compelling aspirational narrative and then amplified massively through social media. That's the recipe for its incredible success and why it's just so pervasive now.
It really is an amazing story. Going from those ancient roots, the ceremonial context, to now being this global commodity, it really makes you think about globalization and how it can just completely reshape cultural practices.
It's a textbook example, really. Matcha's journey is a fascinating case study in what happens when something deeply traditional gets swept up in global trends, what some call cultural adaptation. You have this drink steeped in Zen Buddhism, central to the meticulous spiritual practice of Shinryu, and then through globalization, it transforms into this mass market product you can get anywhere, often prepared quickly, maybe loaded with sugar in a latte.
Yeah, a long way from the traditional
A
ceremony.
very long way. And your sources rightly point out the inherent tension there. How do you maintain the original respect, the careful preparation, the ethical sourcing maybe, while also making it accessible and appealing to billions?
It forces changes, simplifications maybe.
Often, yes. Standardization, mass production. These become necessary for global scale. It's a really powerful illustration of how cultural items morph and change, sometimes losing aspects, sometimes gaining new meanings as they travel the world.
And that tension, that change, it leads to criticism, doesn't it? Some people argue that this global popularity isn't entirely positive, that it might be watering down the original culture.
Precisely. That's a really important counterpoint raised in your material. There's a valid concern, voiced by some traditionalists and cultural critics, about the potential downsides of this kind of commercialization. They argue that when matcha becomes just another trend, just another ingredient for Instagrammable food, or simply a health supplement pill, it risks being disconnected from its rich history, its spiritual depth.
Losing its soul almost.
You could say that. The worry is that the focus shifts entirely to the superficial aspects, the color, the caffeine buzz, the wellness claim, and we lose sight of the centuries of mindful practice, the philosophy, the artistry embedded in Chanyu. It becomes detached from its roots. So it's definitely something for you, the listener, to think about. When we embrace global trends derived from specific cultures, how do we balance appreciation with the risk of simplification or even appropriation? Where is that line?
That's a heavy question. And it highlights how matcha has become so much more than just pulverized tea leaves and water. In today's world, it really is an aesthetic. It's a vibe. It's almost its own brand.
Absolutely. The visual power is undeniable. That vibrant green, yes, but also the whole ritual around it, even the modern latte art, it all contributes to this strong aesthetic appeal. It looks clean, natural, sophisticated. It signals a certain taste level and intentionality that really clicks with people right now. It's more than just a pretty color. It's a whole sensory package suggesting health and mindfulness.
And that look, that feeling it evokes, creates this vibe people want to associate with. It becomes part of their identity.
That's spot on. Matcha has successfully cultivated a specific vibe. It represents calm, focus, health, maybe a touch of eco-consciousness, a curated approach to life. So choosing matcha, participating in the matcha trend, it becomes more than just picking a drink. It functions like aligning yourself with a brand. You're subtly broadcasting, these are my values. This is the kind of lifestyle I aspire to.
Wow.
It's a small daily act, maybe, but it plugs into this larger personal narrative about well-being, intentional living, and appreciating beauty. It really shows how a simple product can get tangled up with our identities and the big cultural stories we tell ourselves today. It's not just what you drink, it's who you are or who you want to be.
This has been absolutely fascinating. We've gone from ancient China through Zen monasteries and tea ceremonies in Japan, right up to the Starbucks counter and TikTok feeds. Understanding the chemistry, the history, and the cultural forces behind matcha's rise, it makes you see that green latte in a whole new light. Thank you so much for walking us through all of that.
It was my pleasure. It truly is a remarkable journey for a humble tea leaf. And maybe a final thought for you to carry away. As we navigate this world where ancient practices become global trends overnight, how do we stay discerning? How do we tell the difference between genuine cultural appreciation or real wellness benefits and just, well, really effective marketing? It's something to keep in mind, perhaps, next time you encounter that vibrant green.
That's a perfect thought to end on. Thank you
Exactly.
again. Next time on Trending Unpacked, we'll move from tea bowls to TV screens with Netflix's gripping new series, The Rip. You won't want to miss it.